A young couple divided by faith but bound by love dared to defy their families in a forbidden romance. But their love story ended in bloodshed, and some say a restless ghost still searches for her lost love. What happened on that fateful night, and why do visitors to Samlesbury Hall still whisper of the White Lady? This is the tragic tale of Dorothy Southworth and Richard De Houghton, Lancashire's very own Romeo and Juliet, with a chilling twist. In the heart of Lancashire, beneath the shadow of two powerful families, a forbidden love once blossomed. But it was never meant to be. A secret romance, a daring escape, and a night that would end in bloodshed. But death was not the end, and some say her spirit still roams searching for the love that was stolen from her. Who was Dorothy Southworth, and why do the legends of her lost love still haunt Lancashire to this day? A young couple divided by faith but bound by love dared to defy their families in a forbidden romance. But their love story ended in bloodshed, and some say a restless ghost still searches for her lost love. What happened on that fateful night, and why do visitors to Samlesbury Hall still whisper of the White Lady? This is the tragic tale of Dorothy Southworth and Richard De Houghton, Lancashire's very own Romeo and Juliet. It is the late 1500s and England is in turmoil. The Protestant Reformation has torn the country in two, pitting Catholic families against newly established Church of England families. To be a Catholic in Elizabethan England is dangerous. Many refuse to give up their faith, but practicing in secret comes with deadly consequences. Imprisonment, execution, and even betrayal by your own neighbours. Few families in Lancashire hold on to their faith as fiercely as the Southworths of Samlesbury Hall. Sir John Southworth, a knight of the old order, is not just a Catholic, he is a man willing to risk everything for his beliefs. Some say he was even involved in a plot to rescue the imprisoned Mary Queen of Scots from her captors. And then in contrast, just a few miles away stands Houghton Tower, home to the powerful De Houghton family. They, like many families, have accepted the new Protestant faith, securing their place in the new order. So you've got two families, two faiths, and between them a love that was just never meant to be. This is the story of Dorothy Southworth and the love that cost her everything. Dorothy Southworth grew up in the grand Samlesbury Hall, surrounded by a strict Catholic family. Richard De Houghton was the heir to the Houghton Tower, raised by a Protestant family that had embraced England's religious changes. Their families were on opposite sides of a dangerous divide, but love does not follow rules. No one knows exactly how they met, maybe at a local gathering or by chance while out riding in the countryside, but when they did, something sparked between them. Richard was bold and open-minded, and Dorothy was kind and strong-willed. In secret they met, again and again, their love growing with each whispered conversation and stolen glance. But their happiness just couldn't last. Dorothy's brother, Christopher Southworth, a devoted Catholic priest, caught wind of her secret romance. Perhaps he noticed the way she would slip away at odd hours, or maybe a loyal family friend warned him of her growing closeness to Richard De Houghton. Christopher was a man of deep faith, and to him this love was not just a betrayal of family, it was a betrayal of God. If Dorothy married into a Protestant family, she would be lost to the old faith forever, and he could not let that happen. Determined to stop her, Christopher went to their father, Sir John Southworth. Sir John had risked everything for his faith, even plotting to free Mary Queen of Scots. The idea that his daughter could be marrying into a Protestant household was unthinkable. Together, he and Christopher made a grim decision. Richard De Houghton must be stopped, no matter the cost. Dorothy and Richard, aware of the danger of their love, made a plan to escape together. They would leave behind their families and the conflict that kept them apart, running together towards a future where love mattered more than religion. But as they made their escape, Dorothy, Richard and his 2 companions were ambushed. The Southworth men attacked swiftly, swords drawn, and Dorothy could only watch in horror as her love was killed right before her eyes. The man who had promised her a new life now lay lifeless on the ground, his blood staining the very path that they had hoped to escape upon. Dorothy was dragged back to Samlesbury Hall, but nothing could ever be the same. After that night, Dorothy's father could not bear to have her stay at Samlesbury Hall. To put an end to the scandal once and for all, he sent her away to a convent in France, and there she was forced into a life she did not want, far from everything that she knew. Heartbroken and alone, Dorothy refused to eat or drink. Day by day her strength faded until at last she died, her heart broken beyond repair. But some say she never truly left. Visitors to Samlesbury Hall speak of a ghostly figure in white wandering the corridors, her presence marked by sorrowful sighs. Some say they've seen her at the window, still waiting for the man she was never allowed to love. Was this just a tragic love story, or does Dorothy still walk the halls searching for Richard after all these years? Perhaps some love stories never truly end. At the very top of Samlesbury Hall sits a room, the White Lady Room. Some say it is the most haunted part of the entire house. Step inside into the darkness and you might feel an icy chill in the air, as if unseen eyes are watching. Shadows seem to move on their own, and many who enter speak of an overwhelming sense of sorrow, as if the room itself remembers the tragedy that unfolded centuries ago. The White Lady, believed to be Dorothy Southworth, has been seen many times, drifting silently through the hall, standing in moonlit fields, or even appearing at a nearby bus stop where drivers have actually pulled over for a passenger who simply wasn't there when they opened the doors. But perhaps the most chilling sightings happen on clear, still evenings. Some claim to have seen Dorothy walking the grounds, and she's not alone. Beside her is a tall, noble figure, a knight in shining armour, Richard De Houghton. The forbidden lovers reunited in death. They have been spotted walking together down the road, their hands almost touching. But when they reach a certain point, where it is said that the body of De Houghton and his men were buried, they stop. They're seen to embrace one last time, and then, as if carried away by the wind, they fade into nothing. A love so strong, not even death could keep them apart. The tale of Dorothy Southworth, the White Lady of Samlesbury Hall, is filled with mystery. And historical records show that Sir John Southworth didn't have a daughter named Dorothy, but his father, Sir Thomas Southworth, did have a daughter named Dorothy, who was noted to have died of natural causes in 1568, so that could be one and the same. In 1978, during renovations near the chapel, 3 human skeletons were discovered, and many people believe these remains could be linked to this legend, possibly belonging to Richard De Houghton and his companions. Despite these uncertainties, many visitors and staff have reported unexplained experiences at the hall, and during my own visit, I definitely felt a distinct presence while walking through the house and its grounds. But it wasn't a frightening presence. Instead, it felt friendly and welcoming, as if the spirits of the past were there, just watching over their loved home. Whether or not the stories are true, there's no denying that Samlesbury Hall has an atmosphere that captivates all who visit. The story of Dorothy Southworth and Richard De Houghton is one of love, tragedy and mystery. And whether Dorothy's ghost truly walks the halls of Samlesbury or not, one thing is certain. This tale has stood the test of time, capturing the imagination of visitors for generations. The skeletons found near the hall, the unexplained sightings and their eerie yet peaceful presence felt by many add to the legend. And maybe Dorothy and Richard never truly found peace in life, but in some way they're still together. If you ever visit Samlesbury Hall, take a minute to stand in the White Lady Room or walk the grounds at dusk, and who knows, you might just catch a glimpse of Dorothy and Richard on their endless journey. If you enjoyed Lancashire's very own Romeo and Juliet story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales. And have you ever visited Samlesbury Hall, or do you know of another place I should investigate in Lancashire? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear about it. And remember, stay curious and perhaps a little cautious.